Meteor, run! Meteor! Meteor! Meteor!
Hey, what's going on, guys? A&M Anime here with a special guest today. It's your boy Alex.
See?
And today we're going to be reviewing.
Hey, can you tell me your name?
Cheesy cheese. So if you didn't get it from that, we're going to be reviewing the movie Your Name, critically acclaimed by Makato. Also did Weathering With You. Right off the bat, which one?
Your name, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think everybody agrees.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So Your Name, what would you say? It's a love story?
It's a perfect love story. Yes.
Not better than Silent Voice.
Okay, not
yes,
better
it
than
is.
No, it's not. A Silent Voice, that's a deep love story. That's being with somebody that you can't physically talk to. And you gotta go above and beyond.
Well, if you want to get real deep, Your Lie, April, because you don't even get to end up with her.
Okay,
All right,
can't
spoilers.
that.
All
Right, you thought everyone out there. We didn't even get there yet. Can we get to this one?
But Your Name is about Taki and Mizuho,
They
a boy
ba-
and girl.
Yeah, they basically they find each other through time. Like hers take place in the current time.
Mm-hmm.
His take place in 3 years past. They switching bodies unwarily though. Like in the beginning, they don't know that they're switching bodies.
Right.
Everyone else know.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else pick up on
They
it.
pick up on it
eventually.
because as they're switching, like obviously they're going to act completely different.
Yeah.
So Taki's acting more assertive compared to how Mizuho act.
Wait, Mitsuha?
Yeah, Mizuha, when she's in her body, she's sweet, innocent, shy.
And when he switch over and Taki's in her body, he's picking fights.
He a thug.
Yeah, he don't care about doing her hair. Like, and on the flip side, when Mizuha's in Taki's body, she's acting feminine to the point where
everybody falling in love.
yeah, even his friends is like, oh, he was cute.
Oh, he's sweet.
Yeah, like, which I guess we could get into that, which kind of has some repercussions because even though they're like helping each other, we do see at one point in the movie that them switching kind of it backfires a bit because he at one point she gets him a date with one of his crushes.
And she eventually starts falling in love with him.
Right. Which is in turn her.
Yeah.
So when he finally goes on a date as him, she's like, yo, you're a completely different person.
You know something, Taki? Today, you're like a different person.
And then he tries to go with the flow, even though he know it's hard because it's not him.
Right.
Because, us females, we know how to get all boo-lovey. And him, he was not having it.
It's not even that. It was like his mom wasn't there, like she said. Because remember at one point they're at the art museum, and he see a picture of the town, so he thinking about Mizuho.
Yeah, but I feel like he did like her, but once he started switching bodies and started getting to know Mizuho, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
When he
Mizuho,
started
Mizuho.
getting know with her, it felt like they was in a long distance relationship.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's like
At one point, there was like a little montage of them trying to figure it all out.
yeah, they literally was leaving notes for each other.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, when she finally, so in the beginning when they start off, you see that she wakes up, but she doesn't wake up as herself.
Right.
She wakes up as him in her body. So the first thing, of course, as a male, he wants to go.
You know what I'm saying?
These are so.
Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. She did it
Typical
too.
men.
She did it too.
Yeah, when she woke up in his body,
She went straight forward.
So, I mean, typical.
It's funny though, because at one point in the movie when they do actually like meet up regularly, she got on him about it, but he didn't care.
He like,
ain't mentioned a
hey,
thing.
I know you touched me too.
Yeah. But then again, she never got caught, so he wouldn't have known.
Right, because
The sister was
nobody
always
lived
walking
there.
in.
Yeah. So, when they basically switch bodies in the beginning, you see she's in class, and everybody in class realized that she wasn't acting herself the day before. Like she
Right.
didn't respond to her name in the classroom. She
Forgot her
wasn't.
name.
Yeah, she wasn't really herself because she
Right.
wasn't. But when she started going through her book, she started seeing in the book the question, "Who are you?"
Who are you?
And she's like, "I know I didn't write that." So she assumed her friends wrote it.
I gotta say, like in a situation, in a moment, both of them was smart. I wouldn't have thought about like leaving notes and stuff.
Right. I wouldn't have thought about that either.
Yeah, because that they still thought they were dreaming.
And they didn't think it was real.
Yeah,
They thought they were
so-
switching bodies. It was like a dream.
The fact that they were like leaving notes, trying to figure out who each other was prior to figuring out
Yeah.
that it was actually real. That was smart.
And with him, when they switched bodies, she texted in the phone. So they was communicating on her end through the book, and on his end, they was communicating through the phone in the beginning.
His journal.
Yeah.
He kept a journal.
So when he wrote that in her book, when they switched bodies, she wrote the same thing, but in his phone.
Yeah.
So basically, after that, I think that's when they finally started taking notes. And
Yeah, they
stuff.
started taking notes together and like kind of getting a hang of being in each other's bodies.
Yeah.
So
They came out with a communication skill, which actually worked perfectly. Like they the do's and don'ts.
yeah, because basically when she was switching, she was using all his money.
She was
Buying
splurging.
food.
You know us females gotta splurge.
And I'll give her some bail in this situation because she was a country girl and he was in the city.
So it was like luxury to her.
Yeah, it was luxury basically. Like she said when she first went to the cafe, it was like, yo, I could live a whole month off this.
Right.
So
Especially because you gotta remember, in her time, that value of that money
yeah, probably was different. It was 3 years. So
yeah. So in her time, that value of that money is like that's a lot of money. But his time is like, girl, you're spending all my money.
Yeah.
I gotta work hard to put it back.
it's basically like going from here to like New York, from Florida to New York. So you already know New York is expensive.
It's expensive.
So, exactly. That's basically what their situation was.
Yeah.
They were switching 2 or 3 times a week. So it wasn't like every day, but it was enough for them to try to get like the hang of it.
Yeah, when they switched, it was like a trigger switch. So
Yeah, so they
it
had to
normally
go
do
to
it at
sleep.
night. Yeah,
Sleep,
when they sleep.
They had to go to sleep.
And
So
for
it
the
wasn't like
phone
it
to
just
do it.
happened out of nowhere, which is
Later on, you won't understand how he pushed it to do it out of nowhere.
you did that when we was watching it, but now that I actually think about what he had to do, because at one point so she's in like a, what would you say, spiritual family?
Yes, her family is like
more so her grandma now was the only really one, and they was just like following after her.
yeah, because her dad is in the picture.
Yeah.
But I to me personally, I feel like her dad didn't leave intentionally to not want to take care of him.
Yeah, I agree.
I think because of the loss of his wife, he wasn't there. He wasn't.
And grandma kicked him out.
Yeah, so grandma wasn't having it. She like, if you gonna be here, you not. And
because we rewatched it prior to this, so when he did pop up and we saw him being like a jerk to her because he hard on her, your first impression was like, oh, you're not even raising her.
So why you
why you being hard
discipline
on her?
her?
But
Yeah.
then they got the flashback and grandma kicked him out, so it's like, what can he do?
right.
Because he didn't want to be on the spiritual side, basically. He didn't want to take care of the shrine. He didn't want to do anything what their family traditions was. So, can't be mad at him too much.
Yeah, and I feel like with the grandma, she raised them, so she raised them inside the spiritual tradition. Like, really back in those days, not even those days, but in that culture, they're very spiritual. So they believe like a lot in the afterlife and how different things can twine together and how people can come together in different ways. Basically, like they speaks to the God. They do different spiritual dances and stuff that you only see her and her sister doing. Like you wouldn't see other girls. The other girls in the school made fun of her.
Yeah, they're laughing at her when they do the dance for the gods. Yeah.
But it's really a deep meaning if people really look into it.
Yeah, because it was basically what they had to do for the dance. They did a little dance and then they would eat rice. And would you just chew it up enough for it to be liquid?
Yeah, it looked like they chewed it up for it to be like watery mixing with they
Can you
spit.
do that? Is that a thing?
Not with rice. Rice, you feel like when you're chewing rice, like you
Yeah,
constantly chewing and it's still whole.
Maybe it was a special kind of rice. I want to look that up. That's interesting. Because she said
And it turned into water.
she said it turned into alcohol.
I thought it
Because
was
remember at one point they were walking and her sister was like, you could sell it or whatever. You could brand it.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, it's alcohol laws because she's not old enough. So
Right. Okay.
I wonder if that's a real thing.
Hey, free alcohol if you buy rice.
Pretty much. That's all I want to know. Well, then again, you can make wine with grapes. So who knows?
Yeah. Stomp on them.
But
grapes.
speaking of the grandma, we do find out that prior to her, like the end of the movie, that she went through switches.
Yeah, but even before the end of the movie, we found out that grandma knew. Grandma know everything.
Yeah.
The grandma and the family always hold the family together, and they know
100%.
everything. Yes.
It is funny though, like the first 10 minutes when they switch back, and she's coming out to see the grandma and her little sister. The grandma like, "Oh, you're yourself today."
Yeah, like
and
she made a little hint.
You kind of don't pay that no mind.
Because you're like,
it's the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're like, she just saying that because she was probably acting different.
Right.
But then you get to the later part, she was like, "You're not you again, are you?"
What's this? Hold on. You're not Mitsuha, are you?
Wait, how did you?
You're like, "Oh, snaps, grandma."
Yeah, and if you really pay attention to that particular part, when she asks, "You're not you," I feel like grandma knew, she knew that something dramatic was about to happen, because she took them to the spiritual
The
area.
shrine.
Yeah.
To go the nether world.
Yeah, and she knew it wasn't her granddaughter, so she went deeper into explaining what it was, what happens here
About the and the braided cord.
Yeah, because she was later on you understand that the little red ribbon that she wear in her hair,
just represent time.
Yeah, and the thread of it represent the bond between the time frames and him and her.
Because what was the line? They assemble and take shape, twist and turn, and reconnect, and that's what time is, or something like that. So,
and they said it was something. What was it? It was a name for it though.
The cord, I don't remember what that. I know at one point when he showed his friend Taki, when they went to the trip to go to her town, he showed it to her. She just called it a braided cord, so I don't know what the actual name of it is. Yeah. I know the wine, the alcohol stuff is called kumikaze or something. That's made of rice. So yeah, but as far as the other characters, they didn't really get too much of a prominent role. They both had two friends.
Yeah.
Taki's friends less so. Definitely didn't get really of a role. They were kind of just there to make fun of him.
Yeah, but I feel like in the beginning you think that so her friend, the male one, likes her.
Yeah, Teshi.
He likes her, and then his friend.
Which one?
His one.
Taki friend. His girl.
Yeah, the girl.
I remember the girl.
But she likes him.
Taki, yeah.
And then as the story goes on, and you see how they started falling in love with each other. And their friends started picking up they must be falling somebody else. It's somebody else that's taking their mind.
Yeah.
And that they could pick up that Taki, he really was falling for her. He really...
they literally kept saying throughout the movie that he was changing.
Yeah, and then it was hard because I know in our day and time, they're they both had cell phones because they started communicating through the cell phone. So they started leaving notes in the cell phone. Why couldn't they call each other?
Yeah.
Because...
I'm not gonna lie, that would have been my question too. If I was just watching somebody talk about it, why you just call? But you find out it's in a completely different time period.
Because they did try to call.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't go through.
You can't call somebody that's 3 years before you.
Right.
So, which that's a plot twist, by the way. So he does try to go see her at one point, and
she tries to go see him. But the thing is, he tried to go see her after they were switching bodies.
Right.
She went to go see him before he was aware that they were switching bodies.
Right.
You understand?
Because you gotta remember, because it's a little complicated, but not really.
In the beginning, especially to the beginning.
Definitely one of those movies you gotta pay attention, because basically what's happening is she's 3 years ahead, in her time period type thing.
Right.
So she was already experiencing everything
before he was.
Yeah. So when she went to go see him, it was 3 years too early.
So he didn't know who she was.
Exactly.
Taki.
Huh?
It's me. Don't you remember?
Sorry, who are you?
But she still left that red ribbon.
Yes. 'Cause
I
now
feel like
you know
that red ribbon symbolized like
that's the bond.
yeah,
That's the
like
bond.
a
That's
like
the
a ring. If you get engaged and married, your ring is a bond, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
So
And I like that he kept it.
yeah, even though he still didn't know who she was,
Didn't know a lick of who she was.
he kept that red ribbon.
I do want to say about more about her family, the Mizuzumi family.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, Grandma, like I said, she explained that she had the dreams, and then Taki, he pretty much comes to the realization that her entire family line was having those dreams.
Right.
Because the grandma had it, her mom had it, and now she's having it. So they were talking prior about how a meteor hit 1,000 years prior.
Right. And when we say dreams, we mean
the switch.
The switch.
The switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because to them they kept referring
switching.
to it as dreams, but it's really the switch.
Yeah.
So then her family line, they kept switching.
The only thing that was a little confusing that you brought up while I was watching was something happening every time that they had to do a switch.
Yeah.
So like in this case, she was dying because of a meteor. So was something going on?
What was
with
the
it?
trigger for
Yeah.
each of her family to do the switch?
Exactly.
And I also want to know, like, what when they did the switch, was they meeting with somebody else in time?
That's a good question because Grandma don't remember.
Yeah, like after you do the switch and the years go on, you forget.
Yeah, she forget.
If you forget details, you forget. Like even later on, you gonna understand why, but they forget.
Yeah.
And then it's a heartbreaker because I started crying because they forget each other.
It was weird though, because like I feel like he was always forgetting quicker or more than she was. Like it took her a while toward the end where she's running like through the town trying to get everybody to evacuate.
And then she forgot.
And then she forgot. Like he forgot on the spot where he was at.
Yeah.
Like he said her name twice and then instantly
He
forgot.
Right.
And she never got to write her name down because time ran out for happy hour.
Yeah, and then when you find out at the end, he didn't write his name down either. He wrote, "I love you."
Little sap.
So sweet.
Little sap.
No, right.
And as she says, which I said in my head, how is that going to help?
Cause love, you always find each other.
Oh boy.
When you got love in it, no matter what, where you want to go, you gonna find each other.
Alright, and find each other they did.
Yeah, they actually found each other not even knowing who each other was.
Yeah, so
It was just like an inner connection.
it was like a 5-year skip, I think.
Yeah.
5 year, and he just went about his life, like forgot everything about it. Like
Right.
he recalls that at one point he had an obsession with the town,
Mhm.
but he can't recall why.
Like when he went to go look for her, he it started off him drawing because he's a really, really, really good artist. So when he started realizing that something took place that took her away, but he didn't understand what was happening. Like he would cry, and when they switched bodies, he woke up crying, and he just couldn't understand like why am I crying? But in reality, he felt like he lost a piece of his soul, which he did because it was her. It's like his other half, right? It's like your other half. Like you don't feel complete unless your other half is there. But it's really like his other half.
I did like that they subtly showed that they were falling for each other because
Right.
like you said, crying randomly. She started crying randomly when she was thinking about him going on a date, even though she got him the date.
And she was really she went to go interfere with the date.
Yeah, pretty much. So like she knew the date was happening.
Yeah, so
at
she's
that
like,
time.
I'm gonna go get my man.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, she didn't care. But I mean, yeah, you're right. They connected. They do find each other 5 years later.
I think it was decent that when they found each other, before they found each other, he went above and beyond and really try to find, where she was. Like,
Take
he
a whole
didn't
trip.
just let it go away.
He sent his friends away. He was like, yo, I'm staying.
Because then nobody believed him. They didn't. They wanted to know, like, how can you say you in love with a girl from a place that got destroyed 3 years ago?
Yeah, they when they got to like the area, they stopped at like a restaurant or something.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "How can you draw that so good?" Like
that
'cause he
that
knew it, he
happened
was
years
there.
ago.
Yeah.
Like, and he told him it's gone. It was destroyed, and the media destroyed it. And the way the media destroyed it was it came flying down, but it split. And when it split, it literally split into tiny pieces. But their main piece is what destroyed where she was at.
Which is crazy because a meteor 1,000 years prior did the same
thing. So we was thinking like, well, from 1,000 years to now, where they going back and forth in time in her generation, like in her family line.
Yeah.
But then that family line was they literally going back in time each year as the family line go on.
Because I wonder if somebody could have tried to
stop it.
Well, I don't know. They never said if that one killed anybody, but they wouldn't know it was 1,000 years ago.
Exactly. So you wouldn't know.
Yeah, probably did actually. But yeah, time skip 5 years later, he trying to get a job as a landscaper. I think it was.
Yeah, because he was trying to build something to avoid that disaster again.
And he still to this day still don't understand why. It's just his dream now.
Right.
So,
he didn't, because he lost all thought process of her. Like he didn't know who she was, but he did know that red band had a significant, important thing in his life.
It meant something to him.
Yeah, but he just couldn't figure out what. So his main thing was he wanted to build something that couldn't get destroyed so easily. Because if you think about it, if they was prepared and everything was built, he probably would have survived. I feel like, but then again, that's a
I mean, like if it hit Tokyo, it still would have did damage like that.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't a like total, because they were like in wooden houses. It was a countryside.
Yeah,
it was a countryside, and it was the whole thing with her. She wanted to be in Tokyo. That's how it started, because she made that wish.
And the crazy thing is when he found out that a meteor hit and destroyed. His main thing was, I gotta protect my girl. Like, I'm gonna do all means necessary to make sure this girl come back to me. Even if that means I gotta drink her spit with some rocks in it.
You gotta mention that again.
So it was like he wanted to do whatever it took to make sure that she and her family was okay. Because when he woke up and he found out that she was gone, he cried. Like he cried because he felt like he lost her, and he at that moment in time he thought he could never get her back.
Yeah, because they weren't switching anymore.
Yeah, he was like, okay, well I can't get her back, but then he heard her call out for him.
Yeah. At one, like I want to say like halfway through the movie, she started like calling him.
Yeah, he started internally hearing her.
Yeah,
and she basically saying, "Don't forget." And when he remembered that her grandma took him to that place, and that place had like a spiritual meaning, he went there. Like after everybody was like, "Well, there's nothing you could do. She's going. That's it." But he sat at that table and he was like really thinking, like, "What can I do to bring her back to me?"
I like that he like mapped it out.
Right.
Like, they were switching so much. He was able to map it out as him.
Every detail.
Yeah, where the shrine was at, where how to get there.
Exactly, and that's how he found it.
Yeah.
So when he got there, he went into the little rock tunnel, and when he got into the rock tunnel, he remembered like the little vases. Him and her sister took them there, not her.
Right.
They was switched at that time. So him and her sister and her grandma, when he carried her in the back, they took it there.
Right. She did the dance and did it.
Yeah.
But they switched and he took it.
They switched.
Yeah.
And when they switched,
that's why when he got there, he was like, "This is mine."
And this is hers.
Yeah.
So he basically opened it up. He realized it was still full. In his mind, he like, okay, so when you go there, the grandma made a good point that in order to bring something back to life, or like to even change something, you had to lose what's important to you.
Right.
And he was important to himself. So he like, I'm gonna sacrifice my life to bring her back. So in his mind, it's like, if I drink this, I'm sacrificing myself, and that should bring her back instantly. But then he passed out.
I do like that during that little sequence, which was beautiful, by the way. The whole movie is beautiful, but during that sequence, it's like he's getting like a flash of her life. So you see what happened to her mom, when her getting sick and passing. He's seeing her fall out with the family,
and how they became connected.
Yeah, like just showing like little flashbacks of their little story.
Right, and then it jumped to the flashback of what actually took place that day.
Yeah.
Because before he even went there to the spiritual place, what was it called again?
I just called it the shrine. I don't remember the name before.
Before he went there, he went to her dad. I mean, as parents, if our child comes to us
like stressing
and tell us like, "Dad, Mom, something is about to happen, and I need you to do this," you wouldn't turn your child away.
See, but at that point, he's so stuck up
on everything else.
He's the mayor of the town,
right?
So he's trying
to keep up this.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm a macho man. Like,
but he did pick up at that point that it wasn't her.
Yeah, because she started yelling, and then didn't she hit him?
She gripped him up.
Yeah, so he like, "Oh, my daughter's sweet." Like, she ain't
He
gonna
looked
do
her in the
that.
eyes like, "Who are you?"
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was cool.
It was decent because he was the
cool.
last one to figure it out.
Because he's not around, but he knows his daughter.
Right.
That did make a point to say like, "Yo, you're not my daughter."
And then her sister even picked up on it. Like,
Yeah.
her sister, the way she picked up on it was funny though.
Listen, man, her sister was comedy going throughout this movie. From fondling her multiple times, touching her boobs, to her crying, to Taki crying when he finally was able to switch back again.
Right, she
lost it. She lost
it.
it. Finally, it's totally lost it. I'm
Oh
gonna just
my
walk
God.
to school by myself.
Finally lost it. Just for today, I'm gonna head out first. She's lost it. Really lost it.
Her sister was great. Her sister was great.
So when the dad picked up on it,
Mm-hmm.
he basically turned her down about how to get the city to evacuate.
Mm-hmm.
So she left. She ran, which she was trying to find basically help, and she wasn't getting it no matter what she was
Yeah, the
saying
only
to the
ones who
people.
were helping her were Teshi and Saya.
So that's when she remembered, like, well, he and her body remembered that, okay, I gotta go to the spiritual place.
This was like the first time they like knew where each other was, because he only went there because he remembered like,
I passed out there.
Yeah, I switched there. So he's like, you gotta be there.
She gotta be there.
Yeah.
And at that time, she didn't wake up yet.
Yeah.
She was still asleep.
Mm-hmm.
But when he said that he gotta go there, like to meet her, her body instantly woke up in his body. And when she woke up, she like,
That's probably
I'm back.
this little like scene is probably one of the best in the movie.
Yeah, that's what
With them,
crying
like, they
again.
can't see each other
Right.
at the time until happy hour.
Yeah,
So
so
they're,
it's like you're running
this
around.
big,
And
giant
she's
circle.
screaming his name.
Yeah.
He's screaming her name. They reach in for each other, but it's like in the sunlight. If you look at it, it's like the sun setting in a
It's
particular
like a
place.
split.
Yeah.
It's like a split.
And it's like his world, her world, we meet here.
Are you?
The hour hit, which is it happy hour? I'm saying that right?
I think it's happy
That's
hour.
hilarious.
Happy hour, yeah.
Is it really happy hour?
I think it is.
We gonna look that up.
I think it's happy hour though.
'Cause that's hilarious. It was really called happy hour.
Right. But the sun started like going down. When the sun go down, they was able to see each
Magic
other.
hour.
Magic hour. That's what it's called. We could call it happy hour. Alright, magic hour.
Magic hour.
So when the sun started going down, they basically was meeting up right there, and they reached for each other. And as they reached for each other, I know if that was me, I feel like no matter how far I reach, he's never going to be there. Like I can't. He's there, but he's untouchable. I can't grab him. I can't feel him, but I can hear him. Like imagine your significant other is right there, and you're calling, and you can't touch him. Knowing like this might be the last time I hear this person's voice. I need this.
Which was pretty much that's kind of how that scene went. Like they weren't sure how everything was gonna go, so
it was just
now
we risking it all just for
saying
this
that.
moment.
Now I get why he said I'll let you instead of just
Right,
because
you don't know. You could write your name down. Okay, I know his name.
Because at that point he thought he failed as her.
Right, and he thought like she wasn't gonna come back. This is it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ever see her again. So imagine if you on your dying bed and there's a 50-50 chance you can come back or you can't come back. The first thing I'm gonna make sure I tell you is I love you.
Yeah, now I get it. That's fair.
I'm not your name.
Yeah.
I want to say I love you.
And plus they had to end that off with the famous line, which was great.
Right.
So getting toward the end of it, like we said, it's a little skip. Right. And they didn't really show too much of Mizuha. Like they were kind of showing him at first, and they're showing that he's pretty much like he's not happy. He's not happy. All his friends are happy. Her friends are happy. We see Saya and Teshi, and they got married, which is funny.
Right.
His two best friends, they got job offers.
Right. He just felt like it was a piece of him missing.
The girl got engaged. I think that was what that was showing, or married, either one.
But we didn't tell you why they felt that way. Because when the magic hour, right? When magic hour happened, basically they was talking, and she got on him about touching her BBs. No, pervert. So after that, they basically started talking, and they was like, we're gonna write down our names so that we know who you are. So he wrote down. Well, from that time we thought his name. But when she went to go write her name, the pen dropped.
Got Thanos snapped.
Should have gone for the head.
Yeah, and then when the pen dropped, he like, I'm going to remember her name.
And
I'm
he's
going
like-
to remember her name.
He got it out like maybe I want to say 2 times.
Yeah, and by the time the third time came, he like, what is?
Her name.
It'll be okay. I'll remember. Mitsuha. 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 Your name is Mitsuha. Your name is...
Her name?
But even then, his memory wasn't going like it is at the top scale.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
he was
like-
saying like, I came here for somebody.
I know
came here for
I'm
somebody
here for a
I
reason.
came here for somebody I don't want to lose. But
Right.
then, like, as that time went on, I guess
He
he just
couldn't-
disappeared. Yeah, because
He couldn't
now
really
he don't
put it
remember anything.
together.
He just know he's searching for something.
Right.
And then finally, when they like cross paths on the train, they're on 2 different trains, by the way, which are going.
No, they
together.
crossed paths before that.
They crossed paths on a bridge, right?
Yeah, when it was raining.
Yeah, but
And
they
he,
really.
they didn't know each other,
Yeah.
but when they crossed paths, he reacted 1st.
Mhm.
He stopped and he like, something,
Something.
pulled him.
Yeah.
And then he shrugged it off. He started walking. Then she stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And she turned around
Then kept going.
and kept going.
And then we get to the
The
next
train.
day. Then they
Yeah,
on a
the
train,
train.
and they see each other. 2 different trains going 2 different ways. They both got off,
Right.
darted.
Because when they seen each other on the train, they was like,
Hold up. And that's when he's like, oh, it wasn't searching for something.
it was ready for someone.
I was always searching.
Searching for someone.
So when they seen each other, he was running for his girl.
And she was running.
She was out.
Like,
Like,
they had to be out because it was a train. Like they went to an entirely different stop.
yes.
So
They was
met
running
up.
to each other.
I'm like, I tried to play it cool. Well, he did.
Yeah, like he did
Yeah,
running all that
She
miles.
looked like
to
she
get
was
to
struggling
it.
to play it cool, but he was like, walk up the steps.
He's like, she ain't gonna try to play me.
Right.
Like, she ain't
might
gonna act
not
like
be
she
a
ain't
girl.
gonna know me again.
But
she knew.
he sucks it up. Yeah, that's alright. So I want to ask you what your interpretation of that scene is. She seemed like she kind of knew more than him.
I feel like her memory didn't go as much as his did.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's what I got to because she instantly started crying.
I feel like her memory went on like who he was,
Mm-hmm.
but the love she had for him,
Did go as much as his did.
no matter how much time went, no matter how much she searched, I feel like she knew.
Yeah.
She knew.
As soon as she saw
That
him,
hurt. You can't let go.
as soon as she saw him and saw that he stopped, she got excited and started crying. So
And
that's
then
what made me
it took
think.
him a minute to think like,
yeah,
I was missing this one. This
Yeah.
is her. This is who I'm looking for. This is who I spent 5 years looking for.
yeah, questioning, being depressed, being sad.
Right. Because he started thinking like, maybe I made this up. Maybe
Mhm.
it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Like he didn't. If you in that predicament, you can't tell reality from a dream.
Yeah.
And that's how he felt. He's like, well, maybe I just created a dream
Mhm.
that never happened. And then if everybody's life moving on but yours,
Right.
because if you missing a piece of you.
Exactly.
And I love the part that when they did meet up at the mountain, at the spiritual place,
Mhm.
he gave her headband back.
Oh yeah.
He gave it back to her.
Yeah.
And she surprised that he actually kept it. So towards the end, when you see them walking up and down the steps, she had that headband on.
Yeah. She kept that heaven for
She
sure.
kept it.
And ended off with, tell me your name.
What's the overall role of the movie?
Like a score? If I had to score it? Oh, I like that. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was glad to say.
I love that movie. It's great.
Yeah. I feel like whoever wrote that movie, they know the true definition of love.
Yeah. I feel like with the second one, you tried a little too hard. Like, it was too many down moments in Weathering With You, where here, we already switching literally at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
So you already, like, interested in what's going on with Weathering With You. It's a little confusing. So,
Especially in the beginning.
yeah.
Because you like,
Yeah, because he did the same thing here where something had already happened. But you're not... It's
too
not
sure
you're not sure what's going on.
exactly what's happening.
Yeah, because
And then they took Taki and
yeah. So spoilers for Weathering With You. I'll put that there. Taki and what is her name?
Mizuho.
she's in it. They're in it. They're not in it together, but at certain points in the movie, they like show it, which is
It's
cool.
like a little glance. Like at first you don't see her face, and then you see the head.
Yeah, we was watching the movie like trying to wonder why that was going on, but that was hilarious.
But then they showed the red being like,
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was really good. I feel like the connection. I feel like how they broke it down. That Your Name is a really good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Yeah,
it was a great movie.
It felt like their love felt like they was in a long distance relationship.
Yeah,
I feel like you was in a long distance relationship
pretty much
with somebody you really never met, but you met her body.
Yeah.
Imagine falling in love with somebody that you communicating through distance, and then when y'all finally meet each other, it's like y'all love is just amazing.
And y'all already know each other.
Right, y'all know everything about each other. Like,
you're literally switching bodies, living in
right.
So,
and there's nothing, no secrets or nothing.
Yeah,
Just know
pretty
each
much.
other. But
guys, that was Your Name.
yeah,
I'll be back again with some more movies, maybe a series too. I don't know what old girl want to do. I don't got no control over here. But thank you guys for watching. A&M Anime, you already know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. And see y'all again.
Can I ask you your name?